welcome to the Fantasy Tippler, the worst fantasy football advice on the planet. Please follow the show at Fantasy Tippler, and please hit that like button, leave a comment, and ring the bell. How I know you guys are out there. So tonight, got a couple things I wanted to go over. Last year, I competed in a 48 fantasy football league called Battle of the States, and that was where there were 48 teams, and each team represented the one state, and I obviously represented the great state of Texas. And it was a lot of fun, and you can actually follow it at Battle of the States Fantasy Football League at their Twitter handle. It's BOTSFFL. It's a Battle of the States Fantasy Football League. It's a lot of fun. The only two states I believe that weren't represented was Alaska and Delaware. Correct me if I'm wrong on that in the comments. And I unfortunately did not make the playoffs because I did not. Because it's the first time for myself during a big tournament like that. I didn't realize the cutoff time was week 12, and I was just having a bad midseason run. So I missed the playoffs by like one game. And I know that Virginia and Maryland went to the final, and I never found out who was the final winner, and I emailed the director of the Battle of the States, and he's supposed to get back to me, but I haven't heard back. But anyway, it was a ton of fun. I'm going to hopefully participate in it next year. And so if you guys like that kind of stuff, please follow Battle of the State Fantasy Football League. Or possibly you can join to represent your state. We can make this like a big annual thing. So, lots to go on. The first big news of the free agency was Matthew Stafford and the Lions. They have parted ways. And I got to say, I thought this was like a great, classy move by the Lions organization, especially since, they've signed a head coach, a 6-year deal. They're not denying going into an overhaul and a rebuild. And the fact, instead of letting Stafford waste away in Detroit, they're going to honor his request. I mean, he's initially the one that made the request. They're going to honor his request and try to let him go try to make the best of his latter years in his career. And I got to say, that's a class act by the Detroit Lions. They've always been one of my favorite underdogs in the league, and I really respect the organization for doing that. So, Matt Stafford, I did not see the Rams coming after him that hard. That was a huge shock, but he ends up in a Ram, and what I thought was a great deal for both sides. Great landing spot. Like, the Rams are an instant playoff Super Bowl contender now. Matthew Stafford for fantasy potential for 21. He's now high on my list. Like, he's always been a stud. He's just had poor receivers, bad offense, bad offensive line. Like, it always held a man down. And I don't think there's any excuse anymore. I haven't really graded the offensive line for 21 yet, but so far he's a really, really good late round pick for me, quarterback wise. I'm right now I'm thinking about targeting him like 8th, 9th round. I think most people will stay away. Now, that may change with the hype over the summer, the free agency, but not sure about Robert Woods or Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee, all the supporting staff. Cam Akers, 2 thumbs up. But I need more research on the wide receiver because I'm not quite sure about how I feel. And Dynasty League for Cooper and Kupp, if anybody offers you anything that halfway, like, tickles for fantasy, then fucking go for it. I would definitely sell high on those two guys right now. My Dynasty League, we're not allowed to pick up waivers right now, but Van Jefferson is sitting out there on free agency. I may grab him and hold on to him just to see if it's like he could turn into something now, especially now that Stafford is there. Because Josh Reynolds, I believe, is gone or will be gone, and they'll need a number 3 there if one of those guys moves, gets hurt. I think Van Jefferson should really get up there. Could be something now. Also, fuck Jared Goff. I mean, how do you? I don't understand. I'm trying to understand how you made it to the Super Bowl, and I don't think it was you. Now he might be a streamer, but like you, I'm pretty much done with you. Like every time I recommended you as a weekly high upside quarterback streamer because I like streaming quarterback, you completely shit the bed, and I don't forgive easy. So fuck him. I think he's done. Dwayne Haskins was signed by Pittsburgh on a development deal, and I hope he takes advantage of it. Like I've been hearing reports out of Washington that like he had poor work schedule, and you know, Coach Rivera like it's not somebody that's going to put up with that BS. So I wanted to take a moment on this, however. Uh, I'm writing off Dwayne Haskins, but I'm not writing off some of the other rookie quarterbacks like Tua that didn't do as well. Um, Quarterbacks take time to develop. I've always compared them to tight ends. Tight ends have that magic 3 year pop. I mean, a great example is look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen did not really do well his first couple of years, but this year, one of the best fantasy football quarterbacks, and it made a very strong playoff run. So, with quarterbacks, like I don't like to completely write them off, um, especially if they're on the just a rookie deal. Uh, if they're if they if they're in the backup position by their third season, then I'm gonna start putting them out on the waiver wire. But Tua is somebody I'm holding on to. I'm not trading for him. I'm not trading him away. Excuse me. I will trade for him. I think there's definitely something there. And I heard somebody on one of my leagues. He's like looking to dump Joe Burrow, and I'm like, how cheap can I get him? Like, what do you like? He's just injured. I think he did very well for a quarterback and developed something amazing. So yeah, I think there will like guys like that will pop at some point. It's just take time and development and a lead that continue getting faster and faster on wanting results. Now, however, redraft will be different. I'll probably avoid Tua and redraft this year. I'll rank him outside of 14 for sure. I want to see what happens in the NFL draft, and obviously we'll circle back to that. So, Watson and Houston, what's going on there? I don't know. I think everybody's like most of the fantasy analysts out there, like, oh, he's gonna go to Miami. Oh, he's gonna go to New York Jets, Chicago. I mean, I'm hearing all sorts of saying, and I'm pretty sure that like Houston's getting some crazy offers, and the Matt Stafford trade kind of set the bar. Like it's gonna be multiple first round picks, solid contender as Houston goes through a rebuild. However, I've got some like wonderful dreams of what they could do together. I'd love to see a package deal with, you know, Watts and Watson, the double Watts going somewhere and making a Super Bowl run next year. It's just, I don't think that's what's gonna happen. And I think first of all, Texans have said we're holding fast. We don't want to hear a trade offer. And some people think that's just because they're waiting to kind of they're trying to like really beef up the free market, but good stuff. I don't think that's what's happening. I have like a weird opinion on like how the owners of the NFL, the 32 team owners, priority owners, if you know what I mean, kind of have like a think tank together. I don't think that the NFL wants this trade to happen. Let me explain. So Duke is different from anybody else. Duke is a guy that, in his prime, super young, obviously a stud. He excelled for fantasy at least on a crap team that was crumbling. Um, so he is guaranteed to lead your team to some amazing thing. I just don't think and Houston knows it. So I don't think that the owners are going to give in to what's kind of being whispered behind the scenes with the NFL owner. Meaning, just because you're unhappy with the team, once you sign that contract, you just shut your mouth and go play football. And that's basically what happened. I mean, Watson made that big contract recently, and he's not even in the first couple of years of it. So he's on the hook to stay with Houston. Now, he protected himself by putting a no trade clause in it. However, it kind of hurts him, but they wouldn't want to trade him anyway. So Houston would get a lot of trouble with their fans if they get rid of Watson. But I don't think that's what the situation is. Um, the NFL doesn't want players dictating when they're unhappy with the team and when they want to move team, which is very different from, I think other major sports leagues. Like, the NFL contracts are some of the worst ones out there. Like rookie deals are way too long. Rookie deals need to be way shorter. So like running back and wide receiver who get to butt kick. Even running backs and like linemen. Like they need fat deals by earlier in their career instead of later. But that's a whole other thing. We'll talk about that later. It's not really fantasy related, but here we go. So, I don't think the NFL owners like when the players dictate when they want to leave, and why I think Watson is going to sit out this entire season. I really do. So, I highly encourage you, if you're in your dynasty league right now or you're in dynasty startup. If you're in dynasty startup, I don't mind drafting Watson at all. He's going to be amazing. I'm just 21 numbers. It's going to be dirty. As of right now, and this is February 11th. So, yeah, that's going to be pretty dirty. So, I'm not going to recommend Watson in any redraft leagues going forward for right now. Now, if something mega happens, which I really do hope. I really don't like the Texans. I don't like that organization. I don't like how they've managed stuff. They're right up there with the Washington team. The Washington Scumbags. I hate that fucking team. And, it's just bad management. Now, however, Washington I'm willing to forgive a little bit because, hiring Ron Rivera, one of my favorite coaches, was a really good move. And I think, if the owner gets the fuck out of there, I think that could be a solid team. But, there's another situation that, kind of compare this to, where it's like, Wentz in Philadelphia. There's a lot of trade rumors floating around with him, but that's different. He's not actually requesting a trade. He's requesting respect. But here's the thing: Wentz can't stay healthy, and he hasn't really competed at the level everybody thought he would. Now he's in the same boat as Watson, where he had like this big fat contract that's recently signed. However, moving him. And the viewpoint of the ownership who don't want to let their NFL players dictate what's going on or what to say how, if you will. And the owner's view, Wentz is a bad bet and it's time to move on. Washington is not a bad bet. Washington's a guarantee. He's going to lead some team very far wherever he lands. And if I was in the upper, you can rebuild the Houston Texans. It's just, man, the previous GM and head coach, who I won't name, really made things difficult on that. So, once I hope he moves, I really hope he goes to Indianapolis or something like that, which will shoot him up my draft. I'll still rank him below Stafford, because I'm fucking in love with that move with Stafford, and I've always been a Stafford fan. I'll always admit that. But I just don't think the NFL owners are going to let Washington move just because he's, quote unquote, being a crybaby about his situation. I think he is going to sit for the year. It's going to cost him some money, and then next year he'll finally get somewhere that he wants to go. And I hope he does it. I always say screw the man. So. That's pretty much all I had to report for today. Please, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Follow me on Twitter at the Fantasy Tippler. It's just at Fantasy Tippler. And I'll see y'all next time. Stay warm, guys.